YouTube vinyl community, Gary Clark Jr. fans, random people on the internet, my name is Giggens and we are here today to talk about Gary Clark Jr.'s album, Live. Man, this is a kick-ass blues rock and romp all through and through. The double disc set, let's just get into it. Gary Clark Jr. is a Austin, Texas-based guitarist whose influences range from Stevie Ray Vaughan to B.B. King, Buddy Guy, Muddy Waters. He wears his influences on his sleeve, and we are the better for it. He has a very nice, silky, smooth vocal delivery, but he can also get kind of crunchy and raw with it too. And his guitar playing style can range anywhere from the influences that he has up into his own style. So a clean sound, a fuzzy sound, a distorted sound, a slide guitar sound. He can do it all. Phenomenal guitar player. He puts on an excellent show. Great dude. This album really showcases his skills as a guitarist, as a songwriter, as an interpreter of other people's works, and makes for a great listen. His band is very tight. He has a guy named Johnny Bradley on bass, a guy named Johnny Radelet, not sure how to pronounce it, on drums, and a guy named Eric King Zapata backing him up on guitar. Gary also plays harmonica. I'm going to go through kind of song by song and talk about what makes each song interesting. So, here's the back cover. This album is a gatefold, and it's beautifully packaged on Warner Brothers Records. Check that out. Very well done. Looks like something you get from the 70s, like some care and thought was put into this thing. Catfish Blues is the first song in this album. It's a Muddy Waters song, and it kind of sets the tone with this skillful, colorful soloing with a swampy rhythm section to kind of give the vibe of, you're in for a bluesy good time, and he doesn't disappoint. Next Door Neighbor Blues is an original song, and it really features a lot of slide guitar. It's just this straight up blues rock and groove, and his vocal on it is insanely cool. He's just got this nice voice. He can pull off a lot of tones, and it just matches his guitar playing very well. Travis County is another song from his album, and it's this like rollicking, fun tune, again with the driving rhythm section, which allows for King Zapata, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, it allows him to take on a solo also along with Gary Clark Jr. When My Train Pulls In, you can't get more classic blues than this. Songs about trains, Hear My Train Coming, Jimi Hendrix, Love in Vain, Robert Johnson. There's always been a train involved in blues songs, and I think a lot of people would see that as like, oh, here's another blues song about a train, but I see it as like, great. Here's another blues song about a train because he's keeping it alive, keeping the blues alive, man. His trademark silky smooth vocals are on top of this world-weary song about moving up and moving on, but it's delivered with a fire and determination that keeps your head bobbing up and down. It's got this great fuzzy solo going on, really emotional playing. He really stretches out and lets loose on this song. Don't Owe You a Thing is the next song. And that was taken off a really early EP he did called the Gary Clark Jr. EP from 2010. Excellent finger-picking style, which bounces into a slide guitar rhythm. Can't recommend that enough. Just a good time. 3 O'Clock Blues is the next song on here. And this is an old B.B. King song, and like I mentioned before, he wears his influences on his sleeve. And like I said before, we are all the better for it. He knows how to play these songs. He knows how to sound like B.B. King. He knows how to sound like Buddy Guy or Stevie Ray Vaughan. But he does it his own way. So he's got his influences, but he also lets it come out of the guitar in his own style. And that really makes for an interesting listen because you're hearing the influences, but he's making it his own. And because of that, you appreciate the song even more because you may already know the song. Like 3 O'Clock Blues is a pretty classic early B.B. King song. But hearing him do it his way, interpreting it for like a newer audience, but still paying homage to B.B. King, it's really special. It's a good song. And it also just shows his ease of transitioning from styles to mess with, where he can sound like Buddy Guy, but also do a B.B. King thing. They had their own artistry and style. You know, Buddy Guy's style was very like still is was very like messy and distorted, and he used a lot of space, and he let his guitar chords ring out or his solos ring out and stretch, and he would bend them and bend them. B.B. King had a really punctuated style, a lot of clean tones in his guitar, and Gary Clark Jr. has absolute no problem just flowing through each of these transitions with absolute ease. A very talented musician. You know, it takes a lot of effort and skill and time to master those sounds and make it your own and show that you can do it. Things are changing. The next song on the album, this is a really slow groove with a lot of pedal effects on the guitar, some like ambient kind of stuff. He has a lot of space on this track. He lets it open up and breathe, so you can kind of play around with some sounds and just let the song unfold on its own. Numb, this song is awesome. It opens with like this Delta vibe, this Southern blues Delta vibe at the beginning, but then it's followed by this crunching, ass-kicking riff fest that just shreds your wig for the entire duration of the song. It just beats you over the head with this guitar rhythm, and it's just a freaking awesome song. Ain't Messin' Round was a single of his, and it's this real charged up rocker with an explosive chorus, and it really showcases Gary's ability to write decent pop rock songs that have a really fantastic homage to the blues and a rock swagger that is kind of hard to find with current groups or artists, you know, these days in the 20 teens. But he pulls it off well. Ain't messing around. He ain't messing around on that, man. that was cheesy. If Trouble Was Money is an Albert Collins song, and it's this real smoky blues vibe. Sounds like you're playing in a blues club, or he's playing in a blues club. And his playing on that also is an homage a little bit to Albert Collins' style, the way he would, his phrasings on his guitar. Third Stone from the Sun / If You Love Me Like You Say. Third Stone from the Sun is a Jimi Hendrix song. If You Love Me Like You Say is a Little Johnny Taylor song. And he blends these two songs together. He opens up with the Hendrix, goes into Little Johnny, ends on Hendrix again. And this song is cool because it kind of lets the other guys show off a little bit too. There's a bass solo, there's a drum solo, another guitar solo. Really good blues romp through these different tracks. I don't know what I'm trying to say there. I guess I was thinking of how Hendrix probably was influenced by Little Johnny Taylor and vice versa. So now it's up to Gary Clark Jr. to put those two worlds together and see how it works. It's also on his album Black and Blue. Please Come Home, which is the first song on side 4, might be one of my favorite songs on this album because he's got this falsetto voice going on and it really works. You know, he's got that smooth vocal delivery and he can do this falsetto thing really well, and it's almost like a lost Smokey Robinson song. I can't get enough of that track. I think it's fantastic. It's got this real strummy guitar solo, so instead of like picking out individual strings for a while, he's doing this like strummy thing with all the strings. He does go into doing like a standard solo, but he's doing it all in this clean tone, so it's almost like this R&B, 60s Motown meets blues meets rock sound. Very interesting song, very only Gary Clark Jr. The next track, Black and Blue, is the lead track off his album, or the title track off his album with the same name, which this album came out right after that. It's from 2014. This version of Black and Blue is really special because it's just him and a guitar. And on the album, it's a very R&B inspired song, you know, like a steady drum rhythm, and it sounds kind of different from the rest of his album. It's not very bluesy. But this version here is just a straight up him and his guitar for a couple minutes, and it's really interesting. It gives the song a whole different life, which is a really fascinating listen. But at the end of that song, the whole rest of the band just gets together and breaks in this badass riff for Bright Lights. You know, that's kind of like his anthem, his big song. You know, You're Gonna Know My Name. And that song, it kicks ass. I mean, it's just got this extended wailing solo. I mean, you know, it's this no holds barred, take no prisoners approach to delivering a song. The whole band's on fire on this song, and they're just slaying it. They really are doing an awesome job. Showing their strengths as musicians and giving the audience, you know, something to beg for more. The last song, When the Sun Goes Down, a very fitting song. It's a very great closing song. It's got that whole, you know, bar vibe. You know, the night's over, last call, gotta get your jacket on, gotta get out of here and find your way home kind of feel, which I think is fitting for blues. But man, this album, it's fantastic. You know, it really is a great album. And I'll show you what the labels look like. I love the labels on this album because they recreate the 70s Warner Brothers look. With the old Burbank palm tree logo. Yeah, this album is special. I saw him live a little before this tour was recorded, so I think I saw him live in 2012 or really early in 13 or something. And he just seemed like a really humble guy, just a really nice dude. And his band was top notch, and he was just on top of his game. So I really wanted to get this one done. Can't recommend this one enough. If you are a fan of the blues, if you're a fan of rock music that's just straight up, you know, balls to the wall rock and roll music, Gary Clark Jr. live, you can't go wrong with this one. Fantastic album. I'd probably give this like an 8 or 9 out of 10. The only thing I wish it came with was a download code because I want to put it on my iPod and listen to it in the car. But other than that, fantastic album. My name is Giggens. This has been Album Reviews with Gary Clark Jr. live on Warner Brothers Records 2014. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and there's more to come. Always more to come. Thanks a lot. Bye.